Hi guys, welcome back to the Vanity. It's Jennifer. Today what we're going to do is my eyeshadow palette declutter, so let's just go ahead and get into that. Okay, so first off, let me just say that I'm sure I'm not going to get rid of much, but let's just go ahead and get into it anyway. So diving right in, I have a couple of the Lorac Pro palettes, which I know I'm not going to get rid of. I have the Mega Pro 2 and the Mega Pro 4. I'm definitely going to keep both of these guys, so those are not going to get decluttered at all. And with that, I know I'm not going to get rid of any of my other Lorac palettes. I just really love their eyeshadow formula. So I have, I don't know if this one was the, I don't know if it's 1 or 2 or whatever. But I have the gray one and the black one. I think there's like a pinkish colored one. I don't know. But these are the two I have. I love these. I'm not going to get rid of them at all. I especially love this, the second one. All those like cool tone shades are really right up my alley, so I love that. One that I think I'm definitely going to get rid of is this Revealed palette by Coastal Scents. A lot of these shades I feel like are pretty similar. Like when you put these on the eyes, they all, like especially like these three, these two, they all kind of look the same. So nothing really stands out to me in this palette. The reason why I really was attracted to it when I first bought it was actually this cranberry shade, because it was like the first of its kind and like an affordable palette. And now I have them in other palettes, so I think I'm going to declutter this one. Second, I have these L'Oreal La Palette Nude 1 and La Palette Nude 2. I think I'm going to keep these. I actually really like them. I think that they are some of the better formulas for these drugstore palettes that I've seen, besides like Wet n Wild. I really like the purple toned one more than I do the brown one, but I am going to keep both of them. Then I have this Creative Me palette that I purchased from Coastal Scents. I really just wanted it for like a colorful palette. And as you can see, it is very colorful, but unfortunately the shadows in here just lack really like opacity. They don't really pop on the eye as much as they look like they do in the pan. I think I am going to keep it only just because I don't have any other colorful eyeshadow palettes, but I'm in the market for one, so I think if I get a different one, I am definitely going to get rid of this. But seeing that this is the only one that I have right now, I'm going to keep it, but I'm not really impressed with it. I have the Maybelline 24 Karat Nudes palette. It's the only palette of this kind that I really have from the drugstore or from Maybelline at all. And I did a full review on it. I was kind of like wishy-washy with my thoughts on the review, so I don't know. Like the gold shade in here is amazing, but the rest of them are a little bit difficult to work with. As far as like the texture of them, they actually swatch better with a brush than they do with your finger, but I think I'm still going to hang on to it though, because I don't have anything else from Maybelline like this, so I am going to keep that one. See, we're not doing so hot. I've only gotten rid of one. I have this Wet n Wild one. I actually have not used it very much, and the colors in here actually are very, very pretty. You've got like your dark brown, matte black, and a nice crease shade for me anyway, and just like a couple of foily type brown shades. I think that it's a very good palette. It has very pretty colors, but I have so many of these colors that I think that's why I don't reach for this, so I'm going to pass it on so someone else can enjoy it. Oh, I know I'm not getting rid of this guy, which is the Bare Essentials by Bare Minerals. I love this. There's like purples and mauves and a little bit of peach tones, so I'm absolutely keeping that one. I love this. For sure keeping my Jaclyn Hill palette. If you guys haven't gotten this palette or kind of interested in this palette, I would highly recommend it. It's only really the only palette that I have from Morphe, so I can't speak to if the formulation is different than any of the other Morphe palettes, but I really enjoy this, and it's got a good color selection with a lot of warm tones, which I don't have, so I'm actually going to keep that for sure. Next up is this Smashbox Double Exposure palette. I got this actually when I went to the Chicago makeup show, and I really haven't used it all that much. A couple of the shadows you can tell that I've dug into, but I haven't used it as much as I thought I would, and I really enjoy all the shadows. The only unfortunate thing is this is a really bulky palette for what it is. I don't care for this kind of packaging. I don't know why companies feel like they have to make them that thick, but it is sturdy as far as having plastic and stuff, but I think I'm going to hang on to it. Okay, then I just popped this little Z palette in here because it technically does have a lot of my shadows. Even though it's not a palette, they're really singles, but this was a Wet n Wild palette that I depotted, and these are all like Morphe singles. But I am going to keep that. That's actually Lorac shadows that I depotted from a little palette. I am going to keep those, so I wanted to put that in there. BH Cosmetics, I'm kind of on the fence about it. Like this one, like these purples, I really am drawn to, and like this cranberry shade, but everything else in here I don't really use. Like this is a nice green, but I have a green in other palettes and I just don't see myself reaching for this all that much. Like this deep burgundy is really pretty. So I think though I'm going to pass this on. I did a swatch video of these. If you guys are interested, I will link it. It's like some of my first stuff, so don't judge. But I think I'm going to pass this on, as well as the neutral eyeshadow palette. I just don't reach for it. This one I did reach for more than the other one, but there aren't a lot of mattes in here, so you can't, a palette of this size, there's no reason why you shouldn't have enough mattes to do a full look with these colors, so I am going to pass this one on as well. Got the old school packaging for the Too Faced Smoky Eyes palette. I got this off of Outlook. I'm going to, oop. I am going to keep it. I like the shadows in here and I think they're really good quality, so I'm definitely going to keep that. And I just got this little one from Bare Minerals. It's their Bare Neutrals palette. I really like this, so I'm definitely keeping this little guy here. Then we've got the Sonia Kashuk Ion Neutrals palette. This I actually showed a lot of love to, and I am still going to keep it. I tend to throw this one in my summer makeup bag that I keep in my camper, so I am going to keep that. It's just a nice drugstore option as far as a neutral palette, but it is still kind of expensive, so it's like 20 bucks. Then I have these from Pure Cosmetics. I think they were part of like a holiday collection at one point. I had gotten them in a set from Kohl's, and the quality of them are just not very good, so I think I'm going to pass it on. For everything that I have in my collection, these just don't live up to everything else, and the colors don't have as much payoff, although they're very pretty, sort of up my alley, the dusty rose, kind of cool tones with a little bit of, you know, warm brown bronzies in there. I'm going to pass it on. And the other one I think has face stuff. Like this is supposed to be a bronzer, a highlighter. These are supposed to be blushes. I'm not really sure what these are supposed to be. I'm assuming maybe bronzers with some shimmer, but it's more of a face palette. But seeing that they go together, I'm going to pass it on with that one. Maybe my sister can get some use out of it. I've got this little Lorac palette. I don't even know what the name of it is, but it's just got a nice peachy gold shimmer blush in here and then a couple of eyeshadows, but I think I'm going to pass this on, even though I really love Lorac. The shadows in here, again, you can't complete a full look, and none of them are really like standout colors for me. I do like this sort of charcoal smoky color there, and the blush is very pretty, but everything else I think I have in other palettes, so I'm going to pass that on as well. So then we have the e.l.f. Mad for Matte palette, and to be honest, I like my Ion Neutral palette a little bit better, and the shades in here just aren't really my cup of tea. This is like really the only transition color, like these two for me, and this one's too pink. I don't like it. And this black here is a joke. It's like a gray color, and I don't really use gray, and then there's gray next to it. So I'm just going to pass this one on as well, because I already have that Sonia Kashuk one. And I've got this Hard Candy birthday suit palette. This is actually a good matte palette, so if you guys don't want the e.l.f. one or you don't like the e.l.f. one, I would recommend this. It does have a better crease shade for me. I know that one looks a little bit darker in the pan, but it doesn't go on that dark. And then it just has some other nice shades in here. So I'm going to keep this one around, I think. Yeah, I'm going to keep this one around just because I want to have another drugstore option. Then I have the e.l.f. What is this? The Naked palette. And I think my last round of declutters, this one got saved, but I honestly have not used it since then, so I think I am going to get rid of it. I have colors like this elsewhere. You guys know that these are amazing quality though, and the pigmentation of the shimmers in this is really great, but I don't use basically from here up because this one's just too yellow. So yeah, I'm just going to pass it on. Hopefully my sister can get some use out of it, or somebody else if she don't want it. Next up I have the Nude Tude palette by The Balm. I'm definitely keeping this. I love this little palette here. And it's got a nice burgundy in there. The black in here is really nice and dark, and there's like a dark cool tone brown, and you've got your standard shimmery colors and then a little bit softer pinky mauve colors. So I love this palette, keeping. And I've got the Balm Appetit palette, and it's right here. This one I haven't used as much as I thought I would, but I really like this copper shade. I mean, I think everybody does in this palette, but this shade is really nice too. And it has like a little bit charcoal shades. This one's sort of meh. I mean, I don't know how many people are just gonna put like a, you know, like a gray all over their lid. But otherwise, some of the other colors in here are still pretty nice, so I'm gonna keep that. Then I've got the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible collaboration. And I have to say, some of the shadows in here are really nice. Some of them are kind of hit or miss. I feel like this brown, it honestly just gets a little bit muddy. It doesn't look very brown when you put it on. So I feel like some of the colors blend a little bit too much together. And like this, I can't use as like a bronzer or anything like that, or a highlight. Same here. So those I don't really utilize as much. And everyone's like, yeah, you can use them as eyeshadows, but I have so many eyeshadows. Why would I need to use that as an eyeshadow? I am going to keep it though because I don't have anything else, and it's like another YouTuber, so I do want to support her. And maybe once I declutter some of these other items, I will get a little more use out of this. Now I've got this Don't Quit Your Daydream palette. It's their Double Duty Beauty eyeshadow palette from Tarte. I really like this little guy. The packaging is really well made, and it's got like a nice magnetic closure, but it's nice and slim at the same time. And this has got like a nice highlight shade in here, and then everything you would need to complete a look. Like this is a transition shade for me, and it's got like a nice, really warm, peachy color with some gold reflect, and then a couple of browns and a gold and a couple of highlight shades for your brow bones and stuff. It's just a really nice little palette, so I'm keeping that. Of course, I'm going to keep the Tarte Tartelette palette. This is the only high-end palette that I have that is basically all mattes, and I really actually enjoy this palette more than I did when I first got it, so I'm keeping that guy. Absolutely keeping this NYX Avant Pop palette. I actually really like this. And even though it doesn't have as many mattes as it should for you to be able to complete a whole look, I can do this color for a transition, or if I mix these two colors. But I really just like the colors in here, and they perform really well, and they last really long, and they're really pigmented. And I've got this Buxom palette. This is Dolly's Wild Side, and I'm absolutely keeping this right up my alley with all these purples and mauves, and these just, you know, Buxom shadows are good, so we're definitely keeping that. Ooh, absolutely have to keep these. These were from some kind of a holiday collection from Tarte. It doesn't really even say on here. It just says Colored Clay Eyeshadow Palette on both of these. They came as a set, and I really just love the sleek packaging on these. It makes it really easy to travel with. They're just cardboard, there's no mirror, and this one has some dark browns and then some shimmer shades, a little bit of green and some burgundy, and then this one, it has more purple shades in there, which I know I have a lot of, but I really enjoy these anyway. I can take them with me anywhere, and I know that I can create great looks with these, so I absolutely love these. Then I got this Hunkin palette from Tarte. I actually am going to keep it. It's kind of like an eyeshadow and a face palette, and it's from the, I think, I don't know, Amazon something or another. Amazon Escape palette, I do believe. And I don't really use the blushes in here actually, which kind of suck. Like this is just too bold for me. This one's alright, but I do like all the other shadows in here, and this deep purple is actually really nice, so I'm definitely going to keep this one. Then I picked up the Amazonian Clay palette, and this was a holiday thing too, so I don't remember the name of it, but oh, I just dug my fingernail into that one. Shoot. But that's this guy here, and it has just a bunch of different shadows in there from Tarte. Some of them I feel like could kind of be repeated, I feel like, in some of these other palettes that I have. But I just like Tarte shadows so much, so I am definitely going to keep this one. I think that's it, guys. That is all my eyeshadow palettes. So this little stack here, so this is the stack that I'm going to get rid of. There is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 palettes that I am going to declutter and find a new home for. And then I don't even know how many I'm keeping. This stack, this stack here. I do have some other little quads and things like that. I think I'll do a different declutter that includes some of those and some of my creamy eyeshadows. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for tuning in and helping me declutter my collection, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!